Andrea Mendez-Barrutia, the Director of Community Engagement for the Hispanic Collaborative. I want to thank you for joining us this morning at the April Bank Roadshow meeting. For those who may be new, the purpose of the monthly Bank Roadshow series is to support Milwaukee's banking, financial, and frontline entrepreneur support community with in-depth information on the entrepreneurial ecosystem programs and services in order to strengthen our community's existing and budding entrepreneurs. Today we have Olivia Catalino from KIVA, who will tell us more about the work they do. She will share her presentation and then we'll open it up to some Q&A. Olivia?
Hi, everyone. So like she said, I'm Olivia Catalino. I am a KIVA Capital Access Manager for the greater Milwaukee area. I also work kind of in partnership with WIBIC. So just going to give you guys a good overview of KIVA along with the borrower process. So in case you were looking, you might feel anyone in need in your network could benefit from a KIVA loan. So what exactly is KIVA? So KIVA was established in 2005 as the world's first personal micro lending website. So it is a bit different than your traditional bank loans. So KIVA also enables everyday people to pool small lending contributions to provide financial access to entrepreneurs across the globe. So KIVA did start originally abroad, and then it was kind of like, okay, maybe this is something we need here in the States as well. So it was brought to the United States in 2009, I believe. And since then, there have been over 40 million crowdfunded loans, over 1,200 cities in the United States, and 6,500 borrowers. So KIVA has had an amazing impact both here in the United States and abroad. So today in the presentation, kind of going to outline a little bit of the problem solution that KIVA is looking to fill in our financial ecosystem, the KIVA loan program, and the borrower process. So, and then take questions at the end if there's anything you guys have anything questions on. So kind of KIVA's statement and kind of their vision is that dreams are universal, opportunity is not. So if any of you worked in the financial industry, we know that accessing capital is not equal for everyone. So we envision a financially inclusive world where all people hold the power to improve their lives. So that's kind of KIVA's mission in ensuring people have access to the capital that they need to begin a business or just continue growing their business. So problem, missing micro. So traditional lenders prefer to make larger loans that require established credit, collateral, audited business financials. I'm sure many of you know this. And it's expensive for lenders to offer smaller loans, especially when they're a business owner or an entrepreneur who is just starting, doesn't have that established credit, that collateral, any business financials. They're just starting off, they're kind of getting their foot in the water, but they need that infusion of capital. There are alternatives such as credit cards, online lenders, but these typically have incredibly high interest rates in order to alleviate the riskiness more so of those loans. So KIVA is kind of there to provide a solution. So we offer loans ranging in 1 to 15,000. So they are just nano loans, like small loans, but they come with 0% interest. Yeah, you can't really find that anywhere else. So there's 0% interest and they are typically 12 to 36 months. So we don't require high credit scores, collateral, audited business financials, none of that. So we are very different in that process. But we are looking for those entrepreneurs who are just starting off or even small business owners who just need a small infusion of capital. And a traditional route might not be economically feasible or just the best route for them. So like I said, we're focused on serving that missing micro. So most KIVA loans, as you can see, are about $5,000. So we kind of position ourselves lower on the ladder of capital, but for that very reason, we are there just to help in that missing micro piece of the loans of $1,000 to $15,000. And we also like to position ourselves maybe on that like bottom rung of the capital ladder. So if someone's just starting off, they need that infusion of capital, we are kind of there to fill that piece and then help them grow onto obtaining more traditional forms as their needs and business and needs grow throughout the years. So you might be asking, how are we doing this? 0% interest loans, not your typical. So loans are crowdfunded, and a business owner's personal and professional network, as well as KIVA lenders from around the globe, contribute and lend to their loan. So I will explain this a little bit more also in the borrower process. But so KIVA is just everyday people lending to small business owners. So you, me, your friends, your family can all become KIVA lenders. It's just a minimum of $25, and you will lend to people from around the globe or in the United States. It's your choice. So this is one Wisconsin loan that we had, and they had 155 contributing lenders. So 100 different people from around the globe lent to their loan. So it is it's an amazing form of people just helping other people, because anyone who is a KIVA lender is more there for the impact. So these are 0% interest loans. So you're not making any money off the money that you put in besides for that impact of helping a small business owner. So we're also working to connect communities to support entrepreneurs. So we have the KIVA loans, but we're also looking to connect with city governments, organizations like the Hispanic Collaborative, and any other borrowers, lenders in communities to help support entrepreneurs and small business owners. So this is where WIBIC comes in, if you guys are familiar with WIBIC. WIBIC was actually, and I will say Wendy in particular at WIBIC was the driving force behind getting KIVA loans in Wisconsin. So WIBIC is a hub and a trustee. So this kind of works that I work through WIBIC and also some of their resources, but also working as a trustee helps to provide business support to borrowers. So trustees are kind of a social endorsement, so to speak. So if you go on our KIVA website and you see someone with a trustee endorsement, this just means that they spoke with a trustee, building a relationship with them. This typically helps if you're lending to someone, you're like, okay, they have connected with a trustee that might make them a little bit more credible to paying back their KIVA loan. I also like to think of it as an amazing networking opportunity. So getting them connected with one of our small business consultants that's WIBIC is amazing for them. They can get signed up for WIBIC classes. We do also have some other Wisconsin trustees, such as the chambers. So I really think of it as a networking opportunity for them to get them connected to other resources. So now a little bit of the loan program itself. So maybe helping someone through. So KIVA loan program eligibility, pretty simple. You must be 18 years old. You must also be using the loan for business purposes. So these are loans, but they are business loans. They have to be used for a business. The business must be based in the United States, while KIVA is international. We're focusing on KIVA US, so must be based in the United States for this. And your business might not engage in any of kind of illegal activities or multi-level marketing. I will also note the business can't be kind of like a contractor. So sometimes we'll have people who are working for like Uber or like an Eat Street kind of thing. That does not fall into it because it must be a personal business. So that is something to note. And then you cannot currently be in foreclosure, bankruptcy, or under any liens. This does not mean that if they previously had bankruptcy or foreclosure, that does not exclude them. They just cannot currently be in any of those processes or banking. And then, like I said, you must be willing to demonstrate your social capital by having a small number of your friends and family or network donate to your loan. So KIVA does not require collateral. So having people in your network lend to your loan kind of establishes that, okay, you're going to pay those people back. If you have people close to you that you're accountable to, payment rates tend to be a lot higher. So that's kind of KIVA's form of collateral, so to speak. So a little bit about the borrower process as well, just to give you guys maybe a timeline. Also, some of this can be very quick. I've had people come in and they're in and out fully funded in 2 weeks. Others take a little bit longer. It really depends on the speed of funding along with speed of just communication back and forth with me and KIVA headquarters to getting the loans through. So the first step is just submitting a loan application. I will say our KIVA website, I personally feel it is very easy to navigate, very simple. So you can just go to kiva.org/borrow, begin an application. We'll kind of go through that phase as well a little bit here in the process. But it just asks for some financial questions, a photo, personal and business story. And then if a business owner has kind of like a separate bank account, if they have proof of business, while this is not required, it will factor into the kind of the total dollar amount that they are able to qualify for a loan. I will note that there is a small little, because Wisconsin does have kind of WIBIC, a hub, we do have KIVA CAM. So I am a capital access manager, like I said. So after submitting a loan, any loan in Wisconsin will then be sent to a CAM before it goes to KIVA review. So this is kind of that helpful step in. I'll help them go through their application, review if there needs to be any edits or changes. Also connecting them with a trustee so we can get a trustee endorsement because Wisconsin loans do require a trustee endorsement. So that is kind of, I'm a little added step in there during that process, but again, just to help the borrower through this. It will then go to KIVA review, where KIVA headquarters kind of just reviews the application, ensuring it's not fraudulent or anything like that, ensuring it is for the business, kind of just all those things, and then determining exactly their loan size. And then it will go to fundraising. So like I said, there is a private and a public borrowing phase. So this can range from 1 to 45 days, but this can also be, if someone goes into private, they have everyone lined up, they've private fundraise in a day, they will automatically go into public. So you have a maximum of 15 days for private lenders, but if you fund before that, you will automatically roll into public. And so public means going on the KIVA website where anyone worldwide is able to donate to their loan. If you obtain to public funding, we find that 95% of loans on KIVA's website get funded. So if you get to public funding phase, it's usually a very good chance that your loan will fully fund. And then just repayments. So typical loans, so KIVA does have an amazing partnership with PayPal. So everything is through PayPal and we do not pay a fee for that, nor does the borrower. So they will need a PayPal account to be set up when setting up for the borrower application and through the portal. And this is just to then, it's how they will receive their funds if they fully fund, and also how they will go through repayments. So just a little overview of what's making it different. You might wonder, okay, well, if this is crowdfunded, why, well, they just go do a GoFundMe campaign. So KIVA is a loan. So this is for people who are just starting their business, really want to establish their credit. KIVA does have it now where we can put this so it will go towards their credit score. So if they want to start building that business credit, that is now a possibility that we can do. There are also 0% interest. There's 0 fees. So if a borrower is looking for a $10,000 loan, they get qualified, they will get $10,000. There's no fees that are taken out by KIVA throughout this process, unlike typical crowdfunding platforms that will take a fee for the funds. There's also a 95% success rate, I say, if you are funding versus crowdfunding is a lot lower. You're just sharing with your own personal network versus KIVA. Once you get to the public crowdfunding phase, you have access to over 1.6 million lenders worldwide that are in KIVA's network. Also, I like to say it again, network and support. because we have trustees and other hubs, you're really getting that support for your business that you need versus just really trying to hang on and get those funds. Something I find helpful, so this is on our KIVA website. If you are looking to go through with someone, this will typically, there is a little bit more of a drawn out one on our website that you can go through to kind of see exactly what tier. KIVA does have tiers, depending on debt to income ratio is a big factor. It does not exclude you, but it is a factor in determining the amount that you can qualify for. Also, existence of a separate business bank account and business proof. So these are a couple of things. If you are working with someone and have any questions about maybe what they're going to apply for, I will share all of our emails, and you can always email any of us at KIVA for any questions. But this is a great kind of thing to go through, I find, with people to ensure, okay, is KIVA a viable option for you? And is it going to get you exactly what you're needing? Because there are the different tiers that people can qualify for. So now I'm just going to go through a little bit of the borrower process, just to, in case you plan on helping anyone through. Like I said, we have a great website that is set up and is pretty simple, but there are some different pieces to it. So the process is, you know, the opportunity to share your business, your personal story. So these are everyday lenders. So getting that personal touch of ensuring the business owner is sharing their story and their business can go a long ways in helping them fully fund their loan. So that is part of the process that makes it completely different than your traditional just bank loan. KIVA loan uses, they can use for anything that is business related. So it's equipment, upgrading, hiring employees. They just might need some working capital to keep them going. KIVA leaves that up to the borrower itself. That is not a problem. It just needs to be business related. So a little overview, when you go through the KIVA borrower process, it kind of steps it out in steps. You can save and come back at any time. So that is not a problem. You don't feel that they need to do everything in one day. If they don't have something, you can always go back. But I will say I feel like the KIVA website does a really good job of walking the person through. So there's kind of just instructions, personal information, going through minimum eligibility, and then it will ask for some business information, credit history. So like I said, we don't require a high credit score to qualify for a KIVA loan, and the credit history, we're really just looking for accurate information. So if someone has low credit, that is absolutely fine. It will not exclude them from a KIVA loan at all. We just want the information to be accurate and honest. And to ensure that, you know, the person who is applying for the loan is actually who they say they are in the KIVA review process. So just ensure accurate information when filling it out. It does not exclude you. And then also if there's any documents, like I said, if they have business proof, that is a good thing to have on hand to upload, as that will determine different brackets and where they're able to qualify for different loan size amounts. So then when you go through, they will typically get a pre-qualified amount. You know, you can go through the application. This is a general idea of what you may qualify for, but this can change. So then in the KIVA review, they'll give a final. So that is something to note, but someone can go through the application process. And then it also gives you the option to continue or not. At any point in this process, you can stop. It's not, there's no requirements for continuing. If someone's like, okay, nope, this isn't what I needed, it is not a problem. You're not tied into anything at any point. So here's just an example. If you haven't gone on the KIVA website, I would recommend it. You can kind of play around a little bit, but this is kind of an example of a loan profile. So me as a CAM, I will work with them to ensure, you know, there's no grammar errors, no spelling. The picture is fitting the KIVA format, but this is your typical kind of loan profile. This one's a very well done one. Some of them aren't this long if you go on our website and look, but just getting, you know, people to personalize with your business, understand your story so that it makes them want to lend to your loan. is very highly important. So like I said, KIVA review, they're just going to kind of look at the profile quality, trustee endorsement, debt to income ratio, that sort of things on the back end to ensure that everything is okay. So that's kind of the next step. And then the private fundraising. So this is a little bit different, and this is kind of KIVA's way of ensuring that you have capital and people in your corner kind of rooting for you, and also ensuring that you're going to pay back your loan. So the private fundraising period, depending on the size of your loan, you will get a number of private funders that will have to lend to your loan. And sometimes this does hang some people up, so we like to ensure that they understand this process. But it is just sharing your profile with family or friends who are willing to donate that. Oh, I always correct myself, not donate, lend, because this is a loan. Lend to your loan, and this really helps in our payment success rate repayments. And then there will be public funding. So this is kind of exactly how it looks. You'll kind of go through, you'll see what percentage is funded, how it's going, powered by 60 lenders. Through your profile, through the profile, you're also able to write messages to your lenders. So we really like when people, you know, can kind of share with their lenders, or even over the course of paying back a loan, like, hey, I'm still doing great. Because KIVA is very personal. These are everyday people just wanting to impact small business owners. But there is a great chance of being funded. And like I said, KIVA is worldwide. So while I am working on the US base, there are lenders and people from all around the world who will lend to loans. And fully funded. So loans are typically dispersed in 7 to 10 days. So that is something to note, that even if they fully fund, funds will not go directly into the account that day. Sometimes that also can get people, because we do use PayPal, that has to be wired and routed and everything. So it's not an instantaneous thing. But the funds will show up in their PayPal business account that they connect with their profile. And then they are free to use those funds however they deem necessary. And from there, the repayment will begin. Repayments, like I said, are just going to be through PayPal, and they will be a monthly. They can sign up for automatic payments, which we highly recommend. And during COVID, we did have kind of a lag period. I believe it is now 3 months it is down to, depending on a couple of factors. But so once they obtain their loan, there is a slight grace period for paying back loans that kind of was introduced with COVID happening. So that is something to note as well. And then also, once a loan is fully repaid, the money will be returned to lenders. So that original $25, they will get it back at the end of the repayment of the loan. And this is typically where we see a lot of KIVA kind of money is recycled, and then lenders will get the money back and then typically put it into other KIVA loans. So that's why we are very insistent on repayment of loans, because the more repayment we have, typically the higher and the better we are able to help future entrepreneurs and small business owners also with lending. It's like, there we go. So just to review, you'll submit a loan application. If you wanted to walk someone through with that, that is completely fine. We love that. We'll typically not have to do as many edits then. It will go to cam review, which will be me. So if you know anyone, you can also feel free to email me a heads up, be like, hey, I put someone in for an application, just keep an eye out for it. We do appreciate that, because then we know, okay, they've worked with someone. It's just nice to get a heads up on that sometimes. KIVA review, fundraising, and then repayment. But yeah, if you're looking, the kivahubs.org/application. This is where you can apply, kind of determine minimum eligibility requirements. There are a lot of resources, so if you have any other questions or anything, I would highly recommend poking around our the websites. There's a lot of great information. Also, I was gonna say, feel free to, I will leave this up at the end, but you can always contact us for any resources that you might need or want. We have a lot of great stuff. And any further questions, you can always feel free to follow up with us at any of these emails. We're all happy to help. But I don't know if anyone had any questions. I feel like that was a lot of information thrown at you guys.
This is really helpful. Thank you, Olivia. So there are already a couple of questions. So one is in the chat. And the question is, what business strategies do you see that make businesses more successful in fundraising for their loans?
So with the fundraising phase, a lot like sharing on social media helps a lot. We do share on our social media, so we share that with our network. Sometimes Wibic's website or Facebook page will also share, but that is typically super helpful if they have a social media presence, whether it's their business or personal or getting their family and friends to share on social media helps greatly in ensuring people are aware. And, you know, you're really surprised by how many people are willing to donate, to lend to your loans. When put it out there. So I was like, that was that.
And then there's another question. Bill, did you want to ask your question?
Sure, I don't want to cut in line, but I actually had a couple questions listening. So you had mentioned that the KIVA loan repayment can help these businesses or individuals build their credit scores. Conversely, are payments reported as past due also, or is there a potential that KIVA, if they don't perform well on their loan, can it hurt their credit?
So this is actually something new because previously KIVA was not reported on credit. So a lot of business owners were like, oh, I was really trying to build business credit. So it is something new. To my knowledge, it's just new in like the past month. There is an option for them to click if they want it to be reported on credit. But so that would mean, yes, if they are behind, it would affect their credit negatively. It could. But if they are not kind of clicking that box, so to speak, that they want it reported on credit, it does not affect their credit.
Well, thanks, Olivia. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off if you're not finished.
Nope.
I have another question. I actually did a KIVA loan for a friend and business owner, and it's in repayment. It's going really well and really cool process. So I have experience with it, but I have some repayment that I would like to reinvest. And I just went on the app and I started to look a little bit for Wisconsin businesses. And it's difficult for me to, I don't see any open campaigns for a Wisconsin business. Is that, am I finding, do you think that's accurate?
Yes, as far as I know of right now, we do not have any in Wisconsin that are currently in public crowdfunding. I was like, I have 2 that are coming up that will hopefully be in public crowdfunding in the next couple of days. But that is accurate. So we might not always have Wisconsin loans in public crowdfunding, just because it also depends on how many applications we are getting in.
Got it. I have one more question and then I'll be quiet.
Yep.
So I joined about 7 minutes late, and I bet you addressed the question I'm going to ask, and that is around technical assistance provided to businesses that are doing KIVA lending. Is that part of KIVA's strategy?
Us at Hubs are able to help them. It's a little more difficult right now because we aren't really in offices. I would say normally we could be like, hey, come on in. You can sit down with one of us, fill out your application in person. That would be no problem. Right now, obviously, our offices are not open due to COVID, so that isn't as much of a thing. But if they have any questions, as long as they can email with us, we can like talk them through on the phone with them. That sort of thing. So I will say it's a little bit more difficult right now. I will say that's not necessarily a KIVA like a national thing that we're kind of pushing through, but in a normal world, yes, we would love to sit down with them if that is a problem for them with the technology.
Cool. Okay, thank you. I'm done.
I hope that answers your question.
So there are some additional questions. Is it just one KIVA loan at a time? And can you clarify who can be a trustee?
Yes, so it is one KIVA loan at a time. We do have it where if they were a previous KIVA loan client and repaid and they want to apply for another one, that is great and amazing. And this will typically allow them to be able to qualify for a larger KIVA loan size amount, but it is one KIVA loan at a time. And then clarify who can be a trustee. So there are a couple of things. If you guys as the Hispanic Collaborative wanted to look into becoming a trustee, I can definitely message with my boss. She kind of works more on the trustee side, but definitely getting in contact with her would be great. We love trustees. We love having people in our corner in our network and just sharing about KIVA, and then also working with small business owners to network with them even more. So that could definitely be a possibility. I don't know the exact rule.
Okay, I was going to say the question was from a banker.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so even banks can. I am not exactly the person because I don't necessarily deal with that. That is Michelle, my boss. I can, if you email the Madison@localkiva.org, she is kind of more in charge of our trustee side. And she could give you information on becoming a trustee. But yes.
Okay, so this is another question that came in through email. I'm going to put it here in the chat. It is, how can a community bank like, this is from Mitchell Street Bank, make an investment in the loan for a Milwaukee company looking to borrow from this platform? I understand we will not make fees or interest, but we can support their startup needs and ultimately get our funds back in a future banking relationship.
Yes, so there is ways to lend to KIVA loans as an organization. So that is something to look into. And also if you are a community bank becoming a trustee. So we do have where there are certain organizations or trustees that have matching fund dollars that we'd love to use. So if like the WEDC, yes, I was like, correct acronym. They do have matching fund dollars that we typically like to put in. So organizations who become trustees are able to put in these matching fund dollars, where if someone donates $25, they will match it. So it will be $50. So that is an option as well if becoming a trustee. So that would definitely
they would first become a trustee.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So that would be great things to ask Michelle, who is our KIVA Madison person who deals with trustees.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I know a couple of people had to drop off, but
no problem.
Let's see. Okay, I think we are, we're good.
Okay.
Well, Olivia, thank you again for presenting, and thanks to all for tuning in this morning. We hope you found the presentation on KIVA helpful, and we'll share it with those in your network who may be able to benefit from a KIVA loan. As most of you all might know, I will share the recording and some additional information in a follow-up email. And I would ask that everyone please save the date for the next Bank Roadshow meeting on Thursday, May 20th, and that will feature Generator. So thanks again to everyone, and have a great day.